YouTube, how's it going? It's Rallied. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my settings, controller settings, graphic settings, and audio settings. I apologize if I sound like death. I just got over a little flu here. The whole family was getting absolutely milli rocked. With that being said, let me go ahead and show you guys what we're working with. Hop into the controller settings. I'm on controller, obviously. I play on tactical flip just because I'm used to drop shotting from OG Call of Duty days before scuffs and all that stuff. Everybody's playing a tactical to drop shot, and I've kind of just gotten used to it. If you're a newer and if you got those back buttons now, which most of these controllers have, whether you're on the Edge, a Naga Shock, a Scuff, or whatnot, you might be able to get away with default, but I just really like sliding with that right stick. So I've been using tactical flip. I know that of course means that I shoot with my bumpers as well, and then I throw equipment with my triggers. That's going to be preference as well, depending on maybe your hand size or kind of, what's comfortable to you. I just got used to flipped because I was playing on PS4 controllers before the trigger stops and before the digital click bumpers and everything, which I'll put it down in the description. I am affiliated with Naga Shock. I love these controllers. Been working with them for 3 years. I'll get that down below. My discount code is Rallied on nagashock.com. Their controllers are amazing. Moving on to my sensitivity though, I'm on 1.6. I think you get away with anything from like 1.5 to 1.8. Just make sure that, you kind of dial it in. And when you change your sensitivity, give it a few days, maybe even a week, and, shoot some bots as well and some multiplayer just to really get it down before you make changes. Everything else is pretty standard. I do not play with vibration on because I think it messes up my shot. My dead zones are going to be 2 on the left, 72 and 99. Usually want to have that left stick max a little bit lower than 90s and 99. That way you get your full sprint and your full strafe speed a lot faster with less movement on that left stick in comparison to if it was on 99. And then for your minimum as well on the right and the left, it's pretty much means that your stick is going to be more responsive the less movement from center mass that you give it. I don't like having it lower than like 1 or having it on 0, because sometimes then my controller's gonna be just drifting by itself, or I'll be strafing by itself, and I think 2 is a pretty good middle ground because it pretty much mostly only strafes whenever I'm touching it. And then same thing with the right stick as well. I think 2 to 4 is pretty solid. Once you have to get above 4, I feel like unless you're on a higher sensitivity, the higher sensitivity will compensate for the higher dead zone because it'll be more responsive, and moving your right stick will make it move further, the higher sensitivity. So maybe if you're on a higher sense, you can compensate, but if you're on a lower sense, I think once you get above 4 dead zone, you might have to look into maybe fixing your stick drift or getting a different controller, because it's going to mess up the precision of your right stick. The max is going to be at 99. If you don't have trigger stops, I would definitely recommend having this on like 1 or 2, but I do, so it doesn't really make a difference for me. Going into the aiming settings, definitely very important to be on dynamic. It is by far the best aim response curve type. It's going to make more precise movements easier, and it's going to make, maybe doing like a whole 180 faster. So it's going to make those large movements faster, and it's going to make the smaller movements more precise and easier to track somebody maybe out of the sky or maybe across the map. Definitely throw dynamic on. This is a cheat code. I don't really mess with the aim response curve. I just have that on 1. I don't mess with any other settings besides having this on instant. And then I do have custom sensitivity per zoom on. I'm gonna be on 0.85 for those iron sights, the Willis 3X, the red dots, because I like to have it kind of slow down more, and I get that more extra sticky feel whenever I'm aiming in. It's going to slow it down and just make it easier to track and kind of, just help the aim out a lot. Now, on the contrary, whenever I'm sniping, I like to have it actually much faster, because I'm going to be having to hit flicks, or I'm going to have to be, let's say I have an 8x scope and somebody's right in front of me. An 8x scope is going to make each movement on that scope way slower. So if I'm on, let's say I'm on 1.6 sense times the 1.05, it's going to make that sense faster and making it a little bit easier for me to kind of maybe flick up close on a really, really high zoom in sense, if that makes sense. Target aim assist obviously on motion. I have this all kind of on default, but I don't know if this is placebo, but a lot of people do swear by having this FOV sensitivity scaling on off. In previous Warzones, having your FOV sensitivity scaling on off really, really helps out, because it would give you pretty much the aim assist of being on 80 FOV instead of 120. Now, honestly, I'm really not sure if it works that way in this one, but I've just had this on off and I kind of just swear by it. So give it a try and see if it helps your aim out. As far as movement goes, tactical sprint assist, of course, have it on 0, on, off, off, off. Some people, pro players, like to have corner slicing on. I just think I don't really like the way it makes my game feel, so I just kind of have it on off. I do like having my slide/dive behavior on hybrid. Yeah, because this is gonna pretty much give me the responsiveness of tap only to slide, which is like the fastest response time for a slide cancel, while also giving me the ability to just hold that sprint button and then press the crouch button, which makes me dive. It's good for like dive parachuting off buildings, or maybe diving through a window. It actually does help a lot. Diving to a car, and then if you dive to a car, you'll be able to press square and get into that car a little bit faster. So yeah, I just think hybrid's really good. Just make sure you kind of drill it into your brain to not hold that left stick, and you'll get it down within a few days. Everything else pretty standard. I have on, off, movement advanced settings, plunging in the water on free. Vehicle advanced settings pretty standard. Combat's gonna go ahead and be pretty standard as well. The only thing that I could really say you should try out is having your C4 detonation on 1x1, which honestly this setting doesn't even really work half the time. But in theory, it makes you detonate your C4s 1x1 instead of throwing the second one if you have to, which honestly, I have this on 1x1, but the game's glitchy and I've definitely thrown a C4 when trying to detonate my first one. And then a big one is armor plate behavior on apply 1. Now, for me personally, I like just being able to, let's say I'm in a position where I'm fighting a guy and I only have time to pop that one plate or two plates. I never want to accidentally put on a plate when I don't want to. I know that you can just like kind of cancel out the animation once you get used to it, but I'd rather just apply the one and like I just hold that triangle button because I do half claw my controller. So I just kind of got used to applying one, and I think for me it just works easier. That way I could kind of not have to worry about accidentally plating when I don't want to. Combat at advanced behaviors is going to be pretty standard. Prioritize interact, of course, make sure you have that on. Overlay, make sure you have these exact settings. I'm pretty sure this is stock. This might be on moderate. Hopping to the graphics, guys. Now I am on a 5090, so I'll go ahead and let you guys know maybe settings to use if you're not on a 5090. Just because this is an extremely powerful graphics card, and you might not want to use the exact same quality settings as me, but for the most part, most things should be pretty kind of hand in hand. NVIDIA reflex low latency on plus boost is a big one. It's going to go ahead and just make your game more responsive. It's going to give you less input delay. Custom frame limit on unlimited. Fidelity, I can't show this because it's like bugged out. So this is going to be on 90. You have to use a mouse to change it. When I press square to show more, it also resets tab. Flawless design by Activision. Gonna have this on off. Gonna have my VRAM scale on 80. Variable rate shading is gonna go ahead and give you a little bit extra FPS while kind of making corners of your game look a little bit worse. It's gonna give you really good. It's gonna give you a really good FPS boost and really help out. The higher FPS you have, the less latency you're gonna have. Now, this is what I was talking about, the 5090. If I was not on a 5090, which was all the way up until maybe about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago was when I got my 5090. I just had this on low, and then I also had this on low, and then I had this on normal, because texture filter anisotropic actually does not mess with your FPS. So you can kind of get away with having this on normal. I like texture resolution on normal. I think that it makes the game look great without causing too much of an issue. Once you can see once you set that to high, it kind of makes a big difference. The difference from low to normal is not really gigantic. Maybe if you don't have the best card, you could stick to low. But normal, and then everything else is pretty much low for me. Just kind of, once again, the higher your FPS is, the higher your FPS is in game, which means lower settings, the less latency you're gonna have. So pretty much you want to have mostly low settings unless you want like a beautiful game or something. For whatever reason, you don't really care too much about that latency. I have my bullet impacts on low, optimized, normal. Once again, when I wasn't on my 5090, I also did have these. I had this on low as well over normal. But once again, I mean, you can see the VRAM usage. Most cards are going to be able to handle just optimize and normal to make your game look way better. Low, off, low, off, low, off. Pretty much everything off and low. I'm on 115 FOV. I think that's a pretty good middle ground. I used to play on 120, but on Verdansk, it's pretty difficult to see what you're looking at most of the time. So I lowered down to 115, and 115 feels pretty damn good. So we're just going to go ahead and keep it on that. Affected is a big one, and make sure you have both these on wide. That's very big. It's going to make your gun look smaller on your screen, which gives you more screen area, so you can see more of, you know, what's in front of you rather than having a gigantic gun cover up your whole screen. Then this is a big one. Make sure your first person movements are on 50. And then also another big one is I like playing on static and having a larger center dot. This is going to be preference, but for me, I really like the feel of static, and I really like the feel of kind of having a slightly larger dot in the middle, because oftentimes I'm going to center based off of that dot, and when it's too small, then it can mess up with my centering, and when it's too big, it messes up. I think larger is perfect. It is preference though, so whatever works better for you. And last but not least, for audio, I'm on master gain volume 82 with my dialogue on 22, so I don't hear the guys screaming about UAVs and stuff. My effects volume is going to be 100. That's going to be footstep, gunshots, the whole nine. Stereo is going to be my speaker output. I do also use optical cable for my input. I don't have enhanced headphone on. And then as far as audio mix goes, you could get away with using either Treyarch mix, headphones. This is gonna vary on kind of which headset you have, and whether it's more of an open back studio headphone. Like for me, I have an open back studio. I use Sennheiser HD660s, so it's not gonna be as bassy. I think headphones and Treyarch works great for this, but with, like, for example, an Astro 40, I was pretty much always on the bass boosted feature. So it's gonna be kind of different based on what headphones for you. I think you can't really go wrong trying these first three. One of them is going to be great regardless. So just kind of mix and match there. I think headphones is pretty solid. And then besides that, I don't mess with anything else besides having my tinnitus sound on, because I do have tinnitus. 15 years of playing Call of Duty will do that. And that's going to go ahead and be it, guys. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more. As always, streams are always live here every single day. Appreciate you guys. Sorry for sounding like death. Getting over a sickness here, but I figured might as well knock this out for you guys on a day off. So I'll catch you guys in the streams. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.